like to do it myself. Today we're going to be replacing the compressor on this 2016 Mercedes GLE 350. Now, the last episode I replaced the expansion valve, and now we're going to do the compressor. My wife has an identical car, 2016 GLE. It's in white instead of black, and her compressor went out. I had the dealer do it, and they charged me almost $6,000 to replace the compressor, including parts. We're going to do this for under $700 today. It's easy to do, and I'm going to show you how. The compressor is located towards the bottom of the engine bay on the driver's side. This is the compressor. There's one bolt here, one back there, and one on the bottom, which I'll show you in a different view. We're going to need to disconnect this, and there's a grounding cable I'll show you from underneath, and then the two high and low pressure hoses. We'll also need to remove this serpentine belt from around the compressor clutch, compressor pulley. This right here is the tensioner, and I'll show you a better view from underneath as well. There are two panels under the car. They'll be under the front, and then still towards the front, but just further back. Remove those. Those are just held in by 10mm screws, a number of them. They should be easy to get out. This will give you a lot of access from underneath. Now, I have the car up on quick jacks because I like them. I can raise the car up much higher than I can with a jack, and lower it as I need to or want to. But you can just put a jack under the driver's side and raise it up, use some jack stands to help support, because everything you're going to get to is going to be from right underneath the car on the driver's side. From underneath the car, you can see the compressor. Here's one of the bolts that we need to undo. This is a ground as well, so the ground goes on this retaining bolt. Right up here is the nut for the tensioner. You're going to put your socket on that, twist counterclockwise to release tension to get the belt off. The third bolt on the compressor is right here. So there's one, two, and the third one from the top. I've disconnected the electrical connection, and now I'm going to do the hoses. I'm going to do this one first, and then this one. This pipe right here is in the way of a good seat for this. So I'm going to undo this one first, pull this out of the way, and then undo this one. This top cosmetic cover for the engine I removed just to give me better access to get my hands in there. I could have done it otherwise, but it's just a little bit nicer to be able to have a little bit more room. The first one I have off, so I'm just going to pull this out of the way. It's out of the way. I'm going to put a glove over top of it to keep anything from getting down in those pipes. So that's one, and now we're going to get ready to do the second one. Again, this is a Torx T45 bolt. I have this loosened, so I'm just going to now undo it by hand. There is a washer on this, so don't drop your washer. Now I'll go ahead and just pull this out. So So my hoses are out of the way. I have them covered up. And the next thing that I'll do in here is to release the serpentine belt. This is a 17. And then I'm just going to rotate it like that. And you can see how that frees up the belt. But now it'll be time to undo these bolts and get the compressor out. This is a Torx bolt, a 12, a female Torx E12. I'm now underneath the car, and we're going to get this bolt right here. Last is going to be this top bolt. Now the compressor is going to be loose and be ready to fall out, so I'm just going to do this a little bit. I'll take the rest of the bolt out by hand and keep a hold of the compressor. I'm going to pull it through this hole right here. Just pull it straight up. My new compressor is a 4 seasons compressor, which I think is going to be definitely the way to go. My old compressor that I pulled out of the car is a Denso compressor made in Japan. Now, interestingly enough, there are 2 stickers on this compressor. One is from Mercedes that says made in Germany, and the other is Denso, made in Japan. So my guess, and it's just a guess, is that this is a Denso compressor made in Japan, sent to Germany. They stuck their own label on it. But this tells me the capacity, 110 cubic centimeters of oil, and it says ND8 oil. ND8 is the same as PAG 46, so that's what I'm going to put in. The new compressor is PAG 46. The new compressor had a charge, 3 ounces of oil already in the compressor. However, it wasn't a PAG 48 oil. It was an oil that's a 1234 YF oil that is compatible with PAG 46. It can go one way but not the other way. But it's always better to drain the oil out of a new compressor and start new. That way you know exactly how much oil is in your compressor and that it was done right. So the oil's been drained out, and now it's time to fill. There are 2 ports. The high pressure. This is what you do not want to put your oil in. And the low pressure. And that's where you're going to put the oil in. Now we're going to charge this 50% oil. So if it requires 110 cc's of PAG 46, I'm going to put 55 in the compressor, and then the rest will go into the system. Pretty much you can put it in anywhere, but I'll show you how I'm going to put the rest of the oil in. I've drawn up 55 cc's of PAG 46 oil. This is half the capacity, and that's what we're going to charge the compressor with, half of the total capacity. The rest of the oil will go in the system elsewhere, which we'll get to later. Now, this is going to go into the suction port, which is the large diameter. I've put the cap on the high pressure port, which is the exhaust port, so that I won't make any mistakes. So now I'm going to start charging it by placing the oil in. As I do so, I'm going to be rotating the pulley so that the oil will drain in. I have the compressor half charged. It has 55 cc's of PAG 46 oil, which is approximately 2 ounces. We still need to put another 2 in, and that's going to go in the system. Put these caps back on, because as you put this compressor back in the car, you're going to be tipping it a number of different directions, and you don't want the oil to start spilling out. So now we'll head to the car and put it back in. I'm going to put this bolt in first. This is going to be easier for me to handle the compressor with one hand, put the bolt in, and then hand tighten it. Then I'll put this this other back one in, and then finally this one with the grounding strip. Now, I'm going to turn the compressor upside down and let it sit while I get everything ready to put it in, so that the oil can now get around the seals in the front part of the compressor, so that they get adequately oiled. And then again, you want to, I've been rotating it all along, but you want to rotate it at least 10 times before you, after the hoses are on, before you start the engine up. That's according to the manufacturer's instructions. Be sure to read them. And this is the hole that I'm going to be putting the compressor through. There is a torque specification for these 3 bolts, and it's 20 Newton meters. So I'm going to have my torque wrench set to 20, and then we're going to tighten these 3 to 20 Newton meters. The compressor bolts are torqued to 20 Newton meters. The electrical connection is reconnected. Now it's time to take these off and put the hoses on. And we have some O-rings that come with the compressor, and those are ones that you're going to want to use. Make sure they get lubricated. Again, I'm going to put this one on first, this one on second. This is a Torx 45, and it gets torqued to 20 Newton meters. The high and low pressure ports are in and torqued, new O-rings, lubricated with the PAG 46 oil, electrical connector connected, the compressor bolts to the engine block, those have been torqued in, and now the belt is not on, but with everything in, I need to rotate this a good 10 times before I put the belt back on. The serpentine belt needs to go back on the compressor. And if you remember, right here is the bolt that's going to rotate the tensioner. Now to allow me to put the compressor back. Look at all of the belts and make sure that that the belt is in the grooves the way that they're supposed to be. Don't just look at the one compressor. The belt is back on. All of them look good. I'll double check it from the top, but they're in the correct position. The next thing I'm going to do is pull a vacuum test to make sure that I don't have any leaks. I pulled the vacuum, and now I'm going to see how long it maintains the vacuum. It should be for a long time. I'm going to turn the vacuum off, high and low sides off on the manifold. Pump goes off. And now the only thing that is connected are these gauges to the high and low pressure ports on the car. So as long as this maintains the vacuum, I'm going to be in good shape. So I'm going to give this at least an hour to make sure that these vacuum readings remain. It's been an hour, and I'm still maintaining my vacuum. Really want to check it on the low side. That'll tell you more than anything else, but I'm maintaining vacuum, low and high side, so I'm confident that I don't have any leaks and can now continue. We have the AC compressor in. We've done a vacuum test so that I know that there are no leaks. And remember, we've only charged the compressor with half of its oil, so we still need to do the other half. Before I do that, I'm going to change the dryer. The system has been open. The air in Florida here is humid, so I have a feeling that the dehumidifier is due to be replaced. So I'm going to do that first. After I finish the dehumidifier change, then we'll add the rest of the oil, charge the system.